hard. With balayage, I would basically just paint her wherever it matters. So we want to mimic like how the sun would lighten the hair. Would the sun ever shine in there? So do I want to like waste my time or product painting there? No. But maybe I would put like a little something here. Just like very diffuse, but I would leave this. Also because I don't want to get her like overly bright and light. Imagine this. You're always picking a spot and you're showcasing it, right? So for most people, it's the front piece, the money piece, right? They want that to pop. So imagine as if you were in the wedding and the money piece here is your bride and everything else that you're doing back here are the bridesmaid, right? So bridesmaids are just there to kind of enhance and help the bride. They're not there to steal the show from her, right? They're there to support. So you don't want to dress the bridesmaid in white because then the bride would get lost. So if you want a pop here, this is not going to be, this is just there to support, right? So just always remember that. Wherever you want to like highlight and emphasize, that's going to be your bride. And the rest of the pieces that you're painting are the bridesmaid, just to kind of enhance it. You don't want to take away from it. So if I overly paint her, then basically I am dressing my bridesmaids in white, which is not going to make her brightness. I'm leaving all that. Now, if it was someone that was telling me like I want to be blonder, then I would split this in two sections. So it would be here and here. I still wouldn't paint here, but I would paint here. And again, I would paint here, maybe like a little piece here for someone that wanted to be overly blonde. But she just wants a little panels of brightness to come through, not overall light.
Would you do the bottom so if she puts her hair up, there's still a little bit of color?
So for clients that want that, what I do, remember we talked about like painting the ridge. So I would take that and I would paint that side. I would skim it, so it's going to be almost like baby light.
See that? Red, which ridge?
So it would be 5 grams of light developer because I want it to be super thick. That's how I like to paint. Sunlight manufacturer says do 1:1. I paint always a little thicker because it feels comfortable to me and also it's good for like maximum amount of lift. So I'm gonna go with 40 volume on this. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna be skimming this part. So I'll show you also like the skimming technique. Skimming is like an amazing, amazing technique. You can use it all over to create like a baby light effects without using million foils. And it's also good if you do it like very lightly to blend in between your V's, and also let's say somebody that has been doing their own color and they've been putting the color from roots to ends, but over time that color just builds up and gets like super dark and dull. So you can use skimming all over the head just to kind of eat through that first layer of color, and then just do a demi color and just give it like a very soft dimension. It's perfect for like redhead and the brunettes to just have like a very sun-kissed ends. So on that, instead of taking it dome, I'm just kind of doing like a very light kind of product saturation, and I'm just gonna skip. So it's just gonna give me a little brightness. contour. And I can make certain parts stronger. So I'm just building up my saturation as I get down below here. So it starts a little bit lighter, close to the roots, and then it gets more saturated.
How many levels are you trying to lift right now?
Okay, so from what we talked, she kind of wants to be like a coppery caramelly tone, which is kind of easy because, you know, if whatever warm I expose is going to work towards my advantage. But like in the salon life, most of the time, you know, but like people want the ashier tones. So with this, like here, do you see how the hair is not like really that saturated?
Mm-hmm.
So this probably is going to give me about 10 level of lift, like 10 volume developer level of lift. As I'm moving here, I'm going to kind of get to 30 and then 40 here, based on my saturation. And then, so I painted that side, but I also kind of want to paint this ridge over there. So I'm going to just come here and paint that a little bit stronger because I actually want the 40 level lift throughout this line here and through the ends here. So then I can just push this through. And this is my loader brush, so I can actually pick with it if I want. I'm going for like maximum saturation on the ends. And if I want both sides of this is called pancaking. So I just flip the hair on the other side and just saturate both. So if you think of like an Oreo cookie, you have the two cookies and then the cream is in the middle. Just think of that. So I'm not pushing the lightener through. If you open this, you would see the inside would be dark. So I'm just painting surface of top and the bottom, but the inside just stays nice and dark.
Why do you paint the
Because the picture that she showed me had like maximum, it was brighter in the bottom. So it was not as bright towards here, but as it got closer to the bottom, it was. So imagine talking levels, kind of going from level 7 to level 9 on the ends. So I'm doing both sides to kind of have that punch, you know, that lift. And then like these little things, you can just
Excuse me, can we do one on this side?
Yes, I would do one side
awesome.
on this and then one side on
Thank you.
When you're doing a balayage, do you normally have an assistant?
I don't work with assistant. Even though like the salon assistant, I have a hard time telling people what to do. So it's just I feel bad. I'm like, So no, I do. Unless like if I'm like really in a jam and I need, and then it's like, can you please, like I appreciate it so much. I just don't. I don't know. I don't like to boss people around. It's not my thing. That's why I would never own my own salon. It's not my thing. I'm like, no. I don't want to like babysit anybody.
So sorry, did you explain it? Are you renting a chair? Or are
Yes. Right now I am renting a chair. So see, that's like one thing I forgot to do. I normally put my Bali wrap like before I do anything. So yeah, we can just put it there and just like this. Slide it to it. On the other one, I know not to forget to do that. So yeah, California laws have changed.
Can we ask you some more questions while you're working?
Sure.
So in your current rental situation, do you provide all of your own supplies and everything?
I do, and even when I was commissioned, with the owner that we have now, I still like was providing all my tools and all my color and everything, and I was paying her commission. So in a way, it was good because it wasn't like a big shock to go to rental, since I was already like doing all my inventory, spending money on color and all that. Yeah.
So do they provide like towels and water and electricity basically
Yes,
and everything
they
else?
basically do the towels, the back bar, you know, the shampoo, and let's see what else. Just the basic snack, you know, like coffee and you know, basic stuff for your client to have. But as far as like the cleaning and everything, like you are responsible to clean up. We started as a commission salon with a different owner. So we were very much trained to work as a team. So even though we are all renters now, we still kind of work as a team. So let's say if my client is processing and in the back room and I see like all these different like dirty color bowls, I would actually go ahead and wash them, even though if they don't belong to me, and other people would do the same for me. Or, you know, if I am sweeping the hair underneath my station, I would go ahead and sweep everybody's station. So we are very much trained to work as a team, which is kind of nice. So then I can just get another piece and kind of diagonally put it there. So I just painted 2 pieces on the outer ridge of the hair because she said she wants to see that brightness when she pulls her hair up. When the hair is down, this is going to be hidden underneath. She won't even see it. So normally, like if I'm doing this kind of pattern and I'm doing V, I most likely just bring the V and then I just take like a horizontal. And I do that because it almost like bricklayers the hair, so not everything kind of sits on top of each other.
How thick are your sections?
So the first one was like super, super thick as you saw. So the second one,
Like an inch.
inch and a half, I would say. Yeah. So I have bright here, shadow there. So I would just take right there. Gonna leave depth right there.
Because she wants to be copper, to what level are you gonna lighten her?
Okay, so 7. But I feel like she is not completely committed to it. Because she showed me 3 different pictures and they're all completely different. So one is blonde and the other one is copper and the other one is cool brown. So and you know, the hair that also she showed me, it had different dimensions. So some parts were blonde and some parts, so I'm trying to create different dimension as well. So there's certain pieces that I'm gonna paint them super strong to lift past 7. And there are parts that I'm gonna leave them like at 7.
What level would you say she is now?
She is like 6. And I haven't, like, don't ever do that. I don't do that with my clients. I actually bring the swatch and I put it on just to make sure, because that's everything. And so, but just like with trained eye, I can tell like it's level 6, but always match the swatch to it. So you are exact. So. So I am just building up my saturation. Yeah, so basically what you do, you remove triangles now, like this, and paint them, and the next one is gonna be in the middle. So you see how they're kind of like not falling on top of each other? I'm kind of just scattering them. So I have one here. If I had foil here, I might have not remembered what I did there, right? So I know there's like brightness there. So I'm gonna come paint this, bring my next section, and so it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections for the back. So I'll paint this here and I'll paint the other one over there so you guys can see.
Is there a maximum time you can leave the clay lightener on?
Okay, so great question. If you mix it correctly, if you don't mix it runny, you can leave it on. I don't recommend it. Don't go ahead and do it and then quote me on it. But you really can leave it on until tomorrow morning and feel okay with it, because it's gonna, if you mix it thick and correct, the outer part is gonna dry out. The inner part is gonna process, but then it's gonna stop. So you can leave it there. It's not gonna lift past that anymore. You are done. Now, if it's like mixed on the runnier part and it never dries out, that hair is gonna just be lifting and lifting. You better like remove it and wash it fast. So it's all about, you know, have you mix it, have you saturate it, and all that. Here, I'm gonna paint the ridge, so I'm lifting the hair. And then I'm just gonna do like light skimming here. And light skimming on the other side of it. That's kind of, when she curls her hair, it's gonna give her that ribbons of color there.
Yes.
gonna move down. When I'm happy with my saturation, then I'm gonna move down. I was trained to price my balayage higher than my foil. But my goal was I didn't want to do foil work anymore. So I wanted to have everybody get balayage. So for me, I realized when I was telling people like, oh, it's gonna be like slightly extra. They're like, oh no, thank you. I'm gonna like, do my foils. So I started by pricing them the same. So my, except I didn't have partial anymore. And so then I kind of was like, okay, I was spending like more time using like more product and not charging enough. So then I added, okay, so for each, my base price is $150, and then for each additional bowl of lightener that I mix or another color, I charge extra $10 to cover me for my product. So I did that for a while and it was working fine. And then when I started like teaching balayage in my area, I realized all my students were like, I charge more than you do.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, maybe it's time to give myself a raise. So now I have raised the price, and so I do charge again for every bowl of lightener and then if I do any sort of like color melting or shadowing or anything like that, I charge for it. Before, everything was included because I was trying to like build.
Yeah.
But now that there is a demand for it and I kind of have created a name in the area, so a lot of like I get new clients, mostly all from like social media or Yelp reviews. So I feel like I can justify now charging more. But so again, like when I'm painting this, I'm gonna bring this closer to the roots. This one maybe down to here. So it's almost gonna be painting a slant this way. And the other one is gonna be opposite. what is it that you want to highlight in her face? Is it her eyes? Is it her cheekbones? Like, what is it? So from there, that's going to be your point, and you're going to make like a diagonal back, because most likely we have to curl our hair away, right? So I want to paint that part, or even if she doesn't curl it, we always do this. So this is the part that is going to come out. So I'm going to do diagonal back, and so her cheekbone is here. If I want to do this, that's going to be like a very little section, so I'm not going to go with that. I'm actually going to go with either the outer part of her brow or the arch of her brow. So if I go with the outer part, that gives me, and she does want like more brightness towards her, towards the front. So I'm gonna go with that. If she didn't want that, I would have just gone and done this. That would have been like my first section. First section. So again, I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna actually go with that because I do want to leave some depth. So I'm actually gonna go with the high part of her brow. That's gonna be my first section, and the direction is diagonal back. I'm gonna flip that. As you can see, like when you get to the front, you don't really have that much hair to paint, so it goes by pretty fast. And then from here, again, I'm gonna decide. So if she is a client that wants to always puts her hair back in a ponytail and she wants to see brightness here, then I will paint this. So when she pulls it up, she sees that lighter pieces here. If not, then I would just go ahead and paint this and make a slant and kind of bring it back. So it's lighter where the face is, and as it moves away from the face, it gets like darker and darker. So do you want to see brightness in your hairline, or are you going to put your hair in a ponytail?
Yeah. I feel like everybody kind of does at some point, pulls their hair back.
Yes, but like some brunettes, it's best to like leave the shadow there. So for some people it's better. Like blondes, definitely you want to paint that hairline for them. But like brunettes is kind of like you have to look and see.
Does it matter the shape of the face? To get where,
Exactly. So I mean, if she had like a,
if I had my round face, where would it go?
so your round face, you actually want to leave shadow here. So you want to have shadow, your brightness, you want it to be on top, a little shadow here. So I would actually, like, if I was painting you, I would drop down. Like I would take this and paint it, but I would drop that down because that's going to peek through. So that's going to be your shadow. Here I wouldn't paint, but I would go ahead and paint the ends. And then definitely like paint up here so you have like the illusion of like the more oval face than round face. Yeah.
I love
So you're not checking your back because you know that no matter what, that's gonna get to 7 levels on the
I don't know. See, like when I lived in Austria and I went to the hair salons, I didn't think like they like, I don't know, in my opinion, their skills weren't like that mind blowing. And these weren't like cheap salons either. Like they charge pretty good. And then the last experience I had, my cousin, she lives in Switzerland. She comes and she visits. So the last time she was here, I went to see her. She opened the door and honestly, like, you know, when something is so bad, you can't even like sugarcoat it and hide it. I was like, oh, did you like, I was like,
Of course, I was there 27 years ago.
I was like,
Maybe
did that
this
happen
was-
by accident? Or she's like, oh no, like, you know, I asked for like a short haircut and that's what they did. And I'm like, do you have like a cheap like version like the way we have here? Like, did you go to the cheap store? She was like, oh no, they charged me like $80 of like US dollar to give me this cut. I was like, oh. She was like, I knew you were gonna say something and you're not gonna be nice about it. I'm like, I was like, this is not about me being nice. This is really horrible. There's like no sugarcoating it. Like, why? Burn like that, mind blowing. And these weren't like cheap salons either. Like they charge pretty good. And then the last experience I had, my cousin, she lives in Switzerland. She comes and she visits. So the last time she was here, I went to see her. She opened the door and honestly, like, you know, when something is so bad, you can't even like sugarcoat it and hide it. I was like, oh, did you like, I was like,
Of course, I was there 27 years ago.
I was like,
Maybe
did that
was-
happen by accident? Or she's like, oh no, like, you know, I asked for like a short haircut and that's what they did. And I'm like, do you have like a cheap like version like the way we have here? Like, did you go to the cheap store? She was like, oh no, they charged me like $80 of like US dollar to give me this cut. I was like, oh. She was like, I knew you were gonna say something and you're not gonna be nice about it. I'm like, I was like, this is not about me being nice. This is really horrible. There's like no sugarcoating it. Like, why? She has like naturally like curly hair, and I think what happened, the person like didn't realize how curly her hair is. So when they cut it short, it was almost like the whole curl just like jumped up. So it was a very, very disturbing cut. So I told her, I was like, okay. I was like, well, you knew you were coming here. Why didn't you wait? She was like, because my hair was falling out and I just, you know, wanted to get it like to be healthier. So I did this like 4 months ago. And I'm like, oh God, like how short it was like when you first cut it. And this is after 4 months. I was like, oh. So she is coming back again in November. So I told her, I've been like telling her like, you haven't gone back, right? Like because we're invited to a wedding and you need to have some hair to work with. Don't cut it again.
So for over here that we have like I think we use Wella bleach.
Color charm?
The bleach.
Yeah.
The bleach.
Color
What
charm.
do we use?
Quick blue.
Quick glue. Can we do beads with quick glue? Like put in like cottons in between or something? Or we
Is
can only
it
use
a
plain?
clay lightener?
It's not clay.
It's a powder.
Just regular.
No. So I would suggest if it's not a clay lightener, don't attempt to paint like this.
Just
This
oil
is just gonna be do like foliage, yeah. So do the whole back combing, you know, weaving, back combing, and then kind of mimic the look of balayage with your toning by, you know, color melting. But I don't think your teachers would be against if you want to practice with like a clay lightener. Maybe not on your clients, but like on each other. Or, you know, mom, sister, cousins, best friend.
That was the first big difference.
Yes. So even like when I teach the hairstylists that have been doing hair for a long time, I tell them, like, don't go and do your first painting on your paying client. Do it on your mom, on your sister, and then do it like on a volunteer model, and then the third time, like, no, I tell them first on a doll head, then on like a mom or sister or someone like that, and then after you practice that, then do it on like a paying client. Very curly blonde, not like brassy, but normally like a lot of people are afraid of freehand painting because of being stuck in that orange.
So that one is
7WV.
7WV.
So
Yeah, I will.
show
Where is it?
it,
Where is it? Where is it?
and we'll do 6G.
6G. So
Just a
7WV.
little bit. And is this our 10 volume?
10 volume, yeah. And then
So I'll do
6G. And then she's gonna do 10 volume double. The amount of those two.
double. That's the right amount. Eyeballing it.
Just pretending here.
And then I'll do 10 NA.
That's the highest.
Mm-hmm.
So
For
10
the
and 8 for
ends.
this one.
With a little bit of 9 energy.
10. And that's 9 in.
Okay, let's see if this
Okay, and then 10 volume.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
After today, the question is answered. It's almost like you need to, we always say you need to like know the rules to break them.
they break the rules.
We are breaking all the rules now. So this I'm gonna leave out.
Oh, to have some money pieces in there, right?
So we're gonna section this.
Can we even
Section
tone
this.
those many pieces into like the blonde that's gonna go into
This is the toner. This is the toner.
Formula, use it like your neutral or your ash or pearl, but always